Once upon a time, in a meadow brimming with sunshine and wildflowers, lived a cheerful grasshopper and a very busy ant. All summer long, the sun warmed the earth, and the days were long and lovely. The grasshopper, whose name was Pip, loved these sunny days more than anything. He had a tiny fiddle made from a blade of grass and a twig, and he spent his hours playing the most wonderful tunes. His music danced on the breeze, making the buttercups sway and the dandelions nod their fluffy white heads. "Come sing with me," Pip would call out to anyone who passed by. "The sun is shining, the day is beautiful. Why work when we can play?" Most of the little creatures in the meadow would stop for a moment, listen to his happy songs, and then go about their day. But his good friend, a little ant named Anthony, never seemed to have a moment to spare. Every single morning, just as the first rays of sun peeked over the hills, Anthony was already awake and hard at work. He would march out of his cozy anthill with a determined look, his tiny antennae twitching. He'd spend the whole day gathering things: a fallen crumb from a picnicker's blanket, a sweet berry that had dropped from a bush, or a tiny seed carried by the wind. He would carry them, one by one, back to his home underground. Pip would often see Anthony struggling with a particularly large crumb. "Oh, Anthony," he would chirp, leaning back on his soft, mossy pillow. "Why do you work so hard? It's summer. The world is full of music and light. Take a rest, my friend. Come and dance with me." Anthony would pause, wiping a pretend bead of sweat from his brow. "Hello, Pip," he'd say, his voice a little breathless. "Your music is lovely. It really is. It makes my work feel lighter. But summer won't last forever. I'm storing food for the winter. When the days get cold and the ground is covered in snow, there will be nothing to eat. We need to prepare now." Pip just laughed. "Winter? Oh, that's ages away. We have plenty of time. Look around you. There's food everywhere. Don't worry so much, Anthony. Live in the moment." And with a flick of his bow, he'd start playing another jolly tune. Anthony would simply shake his head with a small smile, pick up his crumb, and continue on his way back to the anthill. He understood Pip's love for the moment, but he also knew that moments pass and seasons change. And so the summer days drifted by, one after another, each one filled with Pip's music and Anthony's study work. The sun shone brightly, the flowers bloomed, and the meadow was a paradise of warmth and abundance. Pip never once thought about the future. His world was the here and now, the sweet taste of morning dew on a clover leaf, the feeling of the warm sun on his back, and the joy of creating music that made the world feel alive. Then, slowly, a change began to creep into the meadow. The golden sunshine started to feel a little less warm. The days grew a little bit shorter. The leaves on the big oak tree at the edge of the meadow, which had been a brilliant green, began to blush with shades of red and yellow. A cool breeze started to whisper through the tall grass, a sound quite different from the warm hum of summer. Autumn had arrived. Pip barely noticed at first. He just pulled his little leaf blanket a bit tighter at night and thought the cooler air was refreshing. He kept playing his fiddle, though his audience was smaller now. Many of the butterflies had flown south, and the bees were staying closer to their hive. One afternoon, a chilly wind blew across the meadow, sending a shower of colorful leaves swirling down from the trees. It was beautiful, like confetti from the sky. Pip danced among them, playing a brisk, lively tune. But then he felt a pang of hunger. He hopped over to his favorite clover patch, but the leaves were wilted and no longer sweet. He looked for a berry bush, but all the berries were gone. A sudden feeling of unease settled over him. The days got colder and colder. The cheerful green of the meadow faded to a dull brown. The last of the flowers drooped their heads, and a thin layer of frost covered the ground each morning, sparkling like tiny diamonds, but feeling icy cold to the touch. Pip's fiddle grew quiet. It was too cold to play, and besides, he felt no music inside him. He was hungry and he was cold. The joy of summer felt like a distant dream. Shivering, Pip wrapped his thin wings around himself. He remembered Anthony, the busy little ant who had worked so hard all summer long. He remembered Anthony's warnings, which he had so easily dismissed. With a heavy heart, Pip decided to go and find his friend. He hoped Anthony might have a tiny crumb to spare. He hopped slowly and weakly toward the anthill. It was a long and difficult journey. The wind was sharp and bit at him, and his legs felt tired and frail. When he finally arrived, he saw the little mound of earth with a tiny sealed entrance. Everything was quiet. It looked warm and safe inside. Pip knocked gently on the door with one of his cold legs. "Anthony?" He called out, his voice barely a whisper. "Are you there?" "It's me, Pip." After a moment, a small peephole opened, and Anthony's face appeared. "Pip! Goodness, you look so cold. What are you doing out here?" "I'm so hungry, Anthony," Pip said, his voice trembling. "There's no food left in the meadow, and I'm so cold." "I was wrong. You were right to prepare. I spent all my time playing, and now I have nothing." A tear welled up in Pip's eye and froze on his cheek. Anthony's expression softened. He didn't say, "I told you so." He didn't scold his friend. He saw Pip's regret in his shivering, and his heart was filled with compassion. "Oh, Pip," he said gently, "don't stay out there in the cold. Come inside." He opened the door wide, and a gust of warm, earthy air washed over Pip. The inside of the anthill was incredible. It was a maze of clean, cozy tunnels and chambers. And in one large room, there were piles and piles of food. Seeds, grains, dried berries, and crumbs, all neatly sorted and stacked. It smelled wonderful. Anthony led Pip to a warm corner and gave him a plump grain of wheat. It was the most delicious thing Pip had ever tasted. "Thank you, Anthony," Pip whispered gratefully. "Thank you for your kindness." "Of course, Pip," Anthony replied, sitting down beside him. "We are friends." "But this winter is a good lesson, isn't it?" Pip nodded sadly. "Yes, I see that now. It's important to prepare for the future." "It is," said Anthony. "But you know, your music also brought so much joy to the meadow this summer. While I was working, your songs made the hard work feel easier. You helped me too, in your own way. You reminded me that life isn't just about work. It's about finding a balance." Pip looked up, surprised. "Really?" "Really," Anthony confirmed with a smile. "Perhaps next year we can do things a little differently. In the mornings, I will work, and you can play your beautiful music for me. And in the afternoons, maybe you can help me gather just a little bit of food. We can work together, and then we can rest and enjoy the music together, too. That way, we will both be prepared for the winter, and we will have had a wonderful summer as well. A real warm smile spread across Pip's face for the first time in weeks. "I would like that very much, Anthony," he said. "I would like that more than anything." And so Pip the grasshopper stayed with Anthony the ant for the rest of the long, cold winter. He was safe and warm with a full belly and a good friend by his side. He learned that it's wise to plan for tomorrow. But Anthony also learned from Pip that it's important to enjoy the beauty of today. The next summer, they did exactly as they had planned. They found a happy balance between work and play, between preparing for the future and celebrating the present. Their friendship grew even stronger, and the meadow was filled not only with the sounds of Pip's cheerful fiddle, but also with the happy hum of two friends enjoying the sunny days together.